We are talking addiction, whether it's alcohol, opiates, or other drugs. It can certainly have a lasting impact on the addict and those closest to him. But you can get help and you can take your life back. So we're talking with author Clint about his new book and his journey overcoming addiction. He's in our open door green room, and he's going to be joining us in studio next. All month long, Arizona's family has been profiling the dangerous effects of fentanyl and how deadly it is and the efforts to get it off the streets. That stuff is so scary. Well, with each reported shedding light on addiction as a whole, whether it's opiates, alcohol, or anything else, one person who knows what it's like to fight the fight with addiction is Clint. So he's joining us this morning to talk about his new book that's coming out and how he got his life back on track. You've written about several subjects, so you've been here before. This one is pretty serious stuff, though, isn't it?
It's hardcore, because if you are addicted to stuff, it's hard to realize that you're addicted, but you need to take an honest look at your life, and you need to say, hey, am I really dependent on this or not? Like, I didn't understand that I was addicted to marijuana until years after I quit smoking weed. I stopped in 2009, and I didn't realize until probably 2012 that I had been addicted.
And you were addicted to alcohol as well?
Yeah, I was. I went on the Today Show 5 years ago, and the next morning I woke up after Brooke Shields interviewed me on that show, and I said to my wife, you know, honey, I think I'm done drinking alcohol. And it's been 5 years of sobriety, and boy, my life has really changed since then.
Why can't it be that easy for others, though, just to say, I don't want to do this anymore and just stop cold turkey?
Well, it's not easy to do. I mean, for me, getting on the Today Show had been my big dream of my life, and once I achieved that marker, it really changed how I looked at things.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about people becoming addicted anyway. I have to say, I'm not very smart about the subject. Do you have to have an addictive personality to begin with, or can it just be anybody?
You know, you all think it's not going to happen to you.
Right.
But it will happen to you. If you do the things that make you an addict, you are going to become an addict. That's why you should just say no. And I know that doesn't work, but you've got to say no. I've never done cocaine or any of those highly addictive drugs because I knew that if you do it, you're going to get addicted and you need to stay away. And there's been some major celebrity figures in our history who've been addicted. So, for example, Ben Franklin. I think he was a marijuana addict. You know, he invented the urinary catheter. Now, what would make somebody think that it would be good to stick something in there? He must have been smoking weed, and then he goes out in his backyard and flies a kite in a lightning storm. Got to be smoking buds to do that and be stoner. So that's what I think about him. But he's still a great celebrity and one of the Mac Daddy founding fathers.
Well, I'll tell you, it's very scary with the opiates because, you know, it can start innocent enough with taking pain pills and then you turn around.
It is really terrible. And if you go in for one of these operations and they prescribe you the opiates, hey, man, just because they're prescribing it to you doesn't mean you need to take it and you need to get off it as soon as possible. It really is dangerous, scary, and it can happen to you.
What is the point you want to make in your book, aside from it being an interesting story?
If you have a dream, if you really want to make something happen with your life, you need to take an honest look at what's keeping you from doing it. I drove a taxi in Los Angeles for 6 years while I was pursuing the Hollywood dream. I couldn't get a movie made. I couldn't make it happen. Why? Because I bought into the party scene. I was drinking alcohol, smoking weed, just like everybody else. I thought everybody else was. But if you want to make your dreams come true, you cannot let addictions hold you back.
So if you're not on the Today Show and you come home and tell your wife, hey, I got to quit this stuff, what do you suggest for people?
It's really not easy, because when I told my wife I was going to stop drinking alcohol, she really wasn't on board with that. We loved drinking wine together. And
was she an enabler? Looking back?
It was a ritual and a habit that was shared together. And in a way, you know, it was me imposing my will on her, but I said, look, you want to drink, you can drink. I'm just not going to drink. And that was the interesting thing, because it was leadership by example. When I wasn't drinking anymore, she started drinking a whole lot less.
Okay.
Because I wasn't putting it on the table.
Right.
But it's an interesting process, and I would not trade my sobriety for anything. I have so much more confidence and self-assuredness, and I love driving home and not worrying about anybody in my rear view mirror. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So Good for you, Clint. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the sobriety. How long now?
5 full years of total sobriety.
That's saying a lot, so thank you.
To live the impossible dream.
Maybe there is a movie in your future. Who knows? Thank you.